Today we'll be showing you how to install your Metal Cloak fenders on a Jeep JK. This video is designed to work in unison with the instructions provided by Metal Cloak. We installed this kit on a 2008 Jeep JK with a 6-inch lift and 38-inch tires. Starting with the front, remove the bolts, clips, and brackets so you can remove the front fender. Next, using a cutting wheel or a sawzall, remove the support bracket off the fender. Be sure to spray the raw metal with paint. If you have the rock sliders on the Rubicon, you're going to need to remove the bolts and loosen the front part of the rock slider. Unclip, unhook, and remove the front turn signal lights. Next, you'll want to temporarily align the fender with the bolt holes so that we can mark the holes for drilling. Once you've marked all your holes, use a center punch or a centering smaller drill bit to start the holes around the fender. Step up your drill bits until you reach a 7/16 hole size. Install the aluminum brace plate that came with your kit. Now install all the bolts, starting with the smaller one at the rock rail. Continue installing the bolts with the spacers, moving from the rear of the fender to the front. Reference your instructions concerning the notches on each of the spacers. Next, install the two top bolts on the front support brace. Using the same steps as before, mark and drill the lower bolt hole. Fasten the bolt through the signal light hole. Now you're ready to install the bolt that is farthest forward on the fender. Now reuse the bolts that were under your fender for the aluminum brace. Don't forget to reinstall the bolts on your rock sliders as well. Once you install your outer fender with the two Allen bolts, you're ready to move on to the installation of your rear fenders. Don't forget to apply the anti-seize grease provided in your kit for the Allen bolts used for the fender. For the rear, remove the clips and the inner fender wells to remove the fender. Next, remove the rear light of your JK. If you have the rock sliders on the Rubicon, you're going to need to remove the bolts and loosen the rear part of the rock slider. Drill out the two holes for the support bracket to 7/16. Next, install the two nutserts and bolt in the support bracket. If you need help installing your nutserts manually, check out our separate video on jk-adventure.com on manually installing nutserts. Now take the side armor template and bolt it to the support bracket you just installed. Be sure to line up the edges of the armor fender template and then clamp the back end of it to keep it steady. Next, place two more clamps in the front of the fender template to ensure that it stays steady during drilling. Next, reference the diagram provided and use a Sharpie to mark all the holes that need drilling. Next, center punch and start your drilling on all the holes per the diagram. After stepping up your drill size by 2 steps, remove the fender armor template and finish drilling out all of the holes per the instructions. Now it's time to attach the side armor by starting all the bolts and the nutserts you just installed. Again, if you need help installing the nutserts manually, check out our separate video on jk-adventure.com on manually installing nutserts. Now fasten all the bolts using the spacers provided in your kit. Reference the diagram in your instructions concerning the notches on each of the spacers. fasten the 4 bolts on the rear of your JK through the light hole. Now go back and make sure that all the bolts on your armor are properly torqued. To make it less time consuming, we chose to set the clutch on our impact gun to set the torque. Attach your fender to the fender armor using the Allen bolts provided. Don't forget to apply the anti-seize grease provided in your kit for the Allen bolts used for the fender. Now install the last 2 Allen bolts underneath the top of the fender onto the armor. Don't forget to reinstall the bolts on your rock sliders as well. Lastly, reinstall the light on the rear end of your JK. You are now ready to try out your new high clearance fenders from Metal Cloak. Check out metalcloak.com to see their whole line of JK products, including their brand new long travel 6-pack shocks. To see more articles like this, visit jk-adventure.com.